Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Fan Experience Podcast. We are on episode 27. Thank you all for coming back. Hope you all had a great weekend. Had a great weekend of some football games. And now we are in the thick of the Fall Classic. 5-6 months ago, we never thought we'd get here, right? But it's stood true that the Dodgers were the favorite to win the National League, and they just happened to do that. The Braves though up 3-1, and what is it with Atlanta? They just can't hold on to leads. So another collapse in Atlanta coincided with the same exact day. The Falcons actually got their first win, as luck would have it, but Atlanta collapsed and let the Dodgers come back. Dodgers are the better team. So I've never really expected Atlanta to go up 3-1 against them. But at the end of the day, the Dodgers won out. And the Houston Astros, came back from 3-0 to bring it to a Game 7, and they just couldn't close it out. And so your Yankees are still on the hook, Rick. 16 years ago today, might I add, was that Game 7. Just gonna throw that out there. Yeah.
Good evening.
I don't forget that. I
don't expect you to. Thanks a lot. Appreciate that. Good evening to all our viewers out there. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Yeah, we got a Game 1 of the World Series. Going back to the American League and National League Championship Series. What climactic endings, man. You're up 3-0, and then the Astros, champion, let's say fighting spirit, not wanting to get embarrassed. They came back, tied it at 3, but then the Rays just, tough team, plucky team, and just taking that lead on I can't even. I'm having a hard time pronouncing his name, but our Razarenka, I believe I say his last name. His that home run that kind of catapulted Arazarena is that home run that catapulted the Rays in Game 7 and then winning that game. So congratulations to them to the World Series. The Dodgers, Atlanta just has this thing about blowing leads, whether it's baseball, football, you name it, man. It's just not working out over there. What's in the water down there? What's going on, But, the Dodgers obviously just experience kicked in, just a better team, and overall their talent came through, and a big home run by Bellinger there to sort of kind of seal it there. So it's gonna be a fun World Series. I know everybody in LA and our guest is out there in East LA. She's gonna come on a little bit and talk about it, but everybody in LA is excited about this. I like the Dodgers experience. Been to a couple of World Series, played in these big games. The Rays are just they're still a little young. They're playing the analytics kind of baseball. So I like the Dodgers in 5 to win this thing. I just think they're
the Dodgers have a lot more momentum. They came back and won 3 in a row, and the Rays pretty much crawled their way in by winning that last game.
And that takes a lot out of a team, man, emotionally, physically. So I like the Dodgers in 5. I just think they're the better team, and hopefully we'll have a fun World Series. So it's going to be interesting to see. But again, my prediction: Dodgers in 5. LA will have their second major sports championship
in as many weeks.
It's incredible. And meanwhile, here in New York. We'll get to that in a minute, but it's just been a disaster.
Well, speaking of New York and New York highlights, the New York Giants got their first win.
They did.
The Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen's MVP beginning of the season has taken a extreme halt over the last 2 weeks. What did he throw for 122 yards in this last game? It was
playing Kansas City, so it's to be expected.
Yeah, but Derek Carr played Kansas City the last week and threw for 400 in Kansas City. But it was raining. So I'll give him that. But yeah, the MVP talks are over for Josh Allen, and Aaron Rodgers took a little bit of a hit on MVP talks. So there's going to be no confusion that the MVP award will not go to a member of the New York Jets.
No. And matter of fact, you have some highlights of Sunday's game for our viewers.
I do. I have some highlights from the New York Jets game highlights, everybody. Hold on.
And there they go.
And we're back. Thanks. Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, that's the only highlight really going to get. Oh man, no. But you know what? They did have that behind the back.
Yes.
Up against the butt interception. So correct. I mean that's something. But the only highlight at this point is to fire Adam Gase, and I don't understand why it's Tuesday. He just became the first team to get shut out, the only winless team left in the NFL, and it's horrible. I don't know why they're just prolonging this and putting us through this torture. I mean, we're not going to go anywhere no matter who ends up as the coach, but give us that little glimmer of hope that you at least give a shit about who coaches your team. But
good luck with that one.
Yeah.
No, I think we know what this is all about. They're trying to go. They're tanking the season. It's tanking for Trevor. But at this point, I mean, Gase just sounds like he's a defeated man. He has no answers. The team doesn't respect him. The defense coordinator doesn't respect him. I mean, every time you see him on the sidelines, you see him looking at his play sheet, man. I'm like, dude, give up the play calling. Like, focus on the team. And that's the problem. The Jets don't have any leadership as a head coach. And the general manager is just, I mean, he's out. I don't know where he is. I mean, somebody's got to step up and fill the leadership vacuum here. But I think what they're going to do is just ride this thing out to the end of the year. And then they have one of two choices. If they get the number one pick, draft Trevor Lawrence, or if they really believe in Sam Darnold, trade the number one pick for a haul. But I think they're going to move on from Sam and draft Trevor, and then get a coach in here, get a respectable coach in here who can coach him up, and then away we go. So that's where we stand with the Jets. Giants got a good win this weekend. I got to say, Riverboat Ron, man, I give him credit, man, going for 2 there.
Yeah, I mean, you have. I mean, win, especially in the as somebody I talked to today, one of our future guests, actually, he calls them the NFC least.
That's brutal, man. That is a brutal name for a division right there.
But seriously, I see the division winner having 6 games.
Yeah, maybe
6 wins. 6 wins.
I mean, the Cowboys are just as bad. I mean, the Cowboys are brutal, man.
Oh my goodness, dude! Kyler Murray completed 9 passes last night and put up 38 points. Unbelievable.
Awful. And I don't know, man. And then with the Eagles too, having all their issues with Carson Wentz over there.
I mean, the Eagles put up a little bit of a fight against those Ravens, though.
They did.
Came, but nobody expected that. But I think that's more on the Ravens than it is on the Eagles.
Exactly. I mean, but look, that is the worst division in the National Football League. I don't know. I mean, 6-10 might get you into the playoffs. And look, the Giants have a shot. I mean, listen, they won a game. I mean, that's as bad as it's gotten in New York sports, that they won a game and we're celebrating that is pretty pathetic. There were a lot of good performances this weekend. I mean, dude, what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing over there is incredible. They just know how to draft. Chase Claypool,
they're wide receiver gurus. We should have a word from our sponsor real quick. Support for the fan experience is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels.
Yeah, man. Especially during quarantine, man, where there was no place to go and you were just sitting around, no need to go out, anything. It was just growing out. And then all you were doing was hacking away and you were looking for something. You were looking for that solution. And what came up? Manscaped.
Yeah, and that's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team has perfected the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created and just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. This third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents.
When I tell you this is a premium, I mean premium. The battery lasts up to 90 minutes, so it can take you longer to shave, but the waterproof technology allows you to groom in the shower.
Yeah, and one of the coolest features is an LED light that illuminates grooming areas for closer and more precise trimming. And they've also upgraded to a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. And let's not forget about the charging stand. Show off your mower loud and proud, because this intelligently designed stand is a convenient charging dock powered by USB.
If you're listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. Let's get that bush to tush clean. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code FANEXPERIENCE at manscaped.com. Make your testes your besties.
Absolutely. Get 20% off now and free shipping with the code FANEXPERIENCE at manscaped.com. Again, that's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com with promo code FANEXPERIENCE.
Yeah. So there you go. Thank you, Manscaped. So yeah, man.
All
So
right.
go ahead.
So yes, thank you very much, Manscaped, for supporting the program. And we will bring on our next guest after our brief world premiere of the new commercial for Playing the Field, who was the producers of this podcast. Enjoy, everybody.
Do you want to meet other sports enthusiasts like yourself? Playing the Field can help you connect with people who love sports as much as you do, for friendship or romance. You can showcase up to 5 of your favorite teams on your profile trading card to make it easier to find fellow sports fans. Now you can talk about sports, go to the games, or play sports with others who share your interests. Find out more at playthefieldnow.com.
All right, and now joining us is Danielle Lugo. Danielle, how we doing? You got that Dodgers game right over there above your head. I see you. I see you peeking over there. But let's just say what is going on in the waters in Los Angeles. I mean, you had the Lakers. The Lakers just won a title just last week, and now the Dodgers are flying high, coming back from a 3-game-1 deficit in the NLCS and bringing them here. So what are you guys drinking over there? What's going on?
Share some of that with us.
Right. Well, I mean, you're a Yankees fan. I think you've had enough.
Wow. Okay. Oh, I'm a Mets fan, so I've definitely had enough.
No, it's been a roller coaster of a year in the sports world of LA. I didn't anticipate us even being able to watch any sports the way at first. So then all of a sudden running, and then it's happening. And then you got a championship last week, World Series this week. It's incredible. What an October, 2020.
Yeah. It's the bright point of 2020 so far in Los Angeles for sure. So tell us, where did it all start for you? Where did you grow? I know that you're huge on baseball, but you love, the teams like the Raiders and, some the other sports as well, obviously the Lakers. But where did it all start for you? What brought you into loving the game of sports?
Definitely, I started playing softball when I was 6 years old. So having that athletic background had me involved kind of as to, starting to pay attention. We went to games here and there when I was a kid. I think I went more when I was in high school, and then I just started to pay attention more in college. But my dad was a diehard Raider fan, and I think they were still in Los Angeles when I was born. So I have somewhere in the closet Youth XL Los Angeles Raider shirt that I will not get rid of, and I'm just going to keep. But I love the culture. I love I love the way that sports bring us all together, and really allows us to experience something as one, right? Like as one city. And I feel like I'll tell you a funny story, and that's when I was a kid, I didn't realize how much I had anxiety, but my parents would want to take me out of school in elementary school to go see the Lakers parades. And I would, for the life of me, say no, because I was afraid of missing school. But thankfully, as I got older, I got a couple more times to be able to witness a Lakers parade. And I just love the way it brings our city together. It's a beautiful thing to watch. And then I got really, really deeply invested into more of watching the Dodgers. And that was more, my dad was diagnosed with cancer, and the last season we got to go together was in 2013. So that was a sprint, and that we went to every home game possible for the playoffs. If you remember that one, though, that was a terrible, it ended in St. Louis. and Kershaw was on the mound. It all fell apart. And but I remember going to every single game and living it to the fullest, and I just love that I can hold on to those memories. And then, just being able to go to the stadium all the time. It's just my safe place, my peace.
Yeah. Well, my condolences, obviously.
Yes.
And, but it's great to have those memories to hold on to. And, he's watching the game right now. I mean, there's no doubt.
He's rooting right now. Yeah.
He's, he might have had he might have played a factor in that 3-1 comeback too. I mean, let's be
gotta
real.
Give me something, man.
Yeah, it's but it's looking good for you guys right now in LA. Rick, you want to take the next one?
Yeah, no. So thanks for coming on tonight. Reading about you're interesting. So you played college. You played softball while you were in Morgan State University. Tell us a little about that. Like, what led you? Did you play sports when you were younger before that led you kind of to that sort of way in Morgan State?
Yeah, I actually played, like I said, since I was like 6 years old, and then I got competitive. And let me just share how I got competitive. I was 8, and my family was like, "Let's try a different sport." And they threw me into soccer, and I hated running. And I didn't know that it wasn't that I hated running. It was that I was asthmatic.
Oh, okay.
So I was just not having it. I was like, can I do the other one like all the time? Not this one, and now it's funny because I'm such a huge advocate for sports-based youth development, or for play equity, and for kids to be multi-sport athletes. I didn't try out any other sport after that. But then when I went to high school, I played tennis, and I was like, this is fun. I get to hit the ball, and like you get a point if you hit someone. Like I was aggressive, and it cracked me up that that's how I changed. And when I went to Morgan State, I was first at the JC. So I went my first year to UC Davis. I didn't make the softball team. I came back home, and I was going to give up. I thought I was done. And a classmate of mine came over, had to grab a book from my house, and was like, whose trophies are these? And I'm like, oh, they're mine. And he's like, why did you stop playing? And it hit me like, why did I stop playing? Why did I let that one year kind of just stop me?
Yeah.
So I went back into the sport, played 2 years JC, and then I got recruited out to Morgan State, which my travel ball coach sent a lot of girls from California out there. So it really felt like home. Like it was just a bunch of California softball players, a mixture. We would call ourselves the diversity club. My roommate was actually from Curacao. And,
oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so she was my roommate my senior year. I love Zena. And I would send her, since I knew Kenley Jansen was from Curacao, I would take a Curacao flag to the Dodger Stadium and stuff. When they would have his bobblehead, I would send it out to her. And one time on Facebook, I saw her go hey, thanks for my Kenley Jansen bobblehead. And it was tagged, and it wasn't his page. It wasn't like a fan page. It was his actual Facebook, because the island's so small. So it was amazing. I am so grateful that I had that opportunity to go out to Baltimore. That's East Coast. I loved being out there, cheering on the O's.
So you became an Orioles fan when you're out there. Wow.
I actually went to a student night in Baltimore. It was versus the Yankees. It was at the time, I think in 2013, when it was like a good run between them, and it was $7. And I was like, I could never get something like that at Dodger Stadium.
No.
That's not happening. Not even a Yankee Stadium. Now,
definitely not a Yankee Stadium.
Maybe at Citi Field.
No, even Citi Field. It's still in New York. I mean, teams suck, but they still charge.
So tell us about this. You have to listen to music for 2 hours before you played. Was that was just 2 hours of music? Tell us about that.
It would just get me into like a mindset, and I blame my coaches because they would totally let me do it. I did it in high school before I would pitch. And I would have this long playlist that we would be in like lunchtime. So it would go lunch, fifth period, sixth period. Sixth period is when we were warming up for softball, and then game
Got
time.
it. Okay.
I was allowed to keep my headphones in while warming up, and I would listen from lunchtime on. And I just had like a bunch of songs that would just really hype me up throughout the whole time.
And
it didn't even matter if it wasn't like fast. It was more like it was a go-to. So then it happened again in college. I would have like a headset on our bus rides to like the games and stuff. So you would always just catch me with my headphones in.
And you said that your coach, said no coffee, juice, or anything, and then you'd be sitting there just drinking your coffee right in front of him. But
I loved coffee. So when I was in my second year at the JC, I didn't go to the one near my house. I went further to play more. I was a DH for our team here in East LA. And I basically got recruited, and they were like, hey, listen, if you go to the other JC in Pasadena, which is 30 minutes away, you'll get more playing time on the field. It can mean more scholarship money. And the deal with my parents was if I was going out that far, driving out, I would have to pay for my own gas money. So I took on a job, and I was a full-time student playing softball, and I was working 18 to 20 hours a week at a Forever 21. And that, like, I was the closer. So because I didn't want to deal with people, or it was so hard. So I was like, I'll work the 8 to midnight shift. And so I wouldn't get out to like 1 or 2, but I had to be at school by like 8:30 in the morning and still go practice. So I drank a lot of coffee when I started doing that. And so it was never questioned, because one time during practice, my coach, it was pitchers and catchers, my junior year out at Morgan State, the pitching coach called for 6 a.m. practices on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And for me, I was like, do I drink my coffee then, or do I drink my coffee before class, which is like hours later? And I was like, the first time I was like, I'm going to wait, because I'm going to need it then, And I'll never forget that she stopped me during, like we were doing conditioning, and she stopped me and she goes, did you not drink your coffee today? And I was like, no. And she goes, bring it next time. So I was allowed to like bring
Wow, all right, yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, exempt from the no coffee rule. They're like, okay, she does
my
better
coffee.
with the, just let her listen to her 2 hours worth of music. Let her drink her coffee. We need her well pumped up and well caffeinated. So let's fast forward a little bit, and you touched on the whole sports bringing everyone together, and we certainly saw it this past January. And you obviously living in Los Angeles, and how emotional it was when Kobe tragically passed away, and just everyone gathering around the Staples Center, and I know that you went, so tell us a little bit about that. We don't want to get you too worked up, but
that was just a crazy day. And I'll say this is that the day before, I actually completed my capstone for my master's degree, and
Awesome.
I actually did my work on what Kobe Bryant launched with Aspen Institute, which is Project Play. And I couldn't believe it. Like, I was just presenting on something that he was a part of, and now next day he's gone. But I remember the night before, it was foggy. It was like ugly in the sense of like, oh, like, dang, like you can't even see through this. And then the next morning it was still the same. And then the, phones are going off, and everyone's talking that like TMZ reported that he passed away. I felt like it was significant to like, I need to go to Staples Center. And I'm so thankful that I did. I ended up going, I think around like in the afternoon, and there was just a crowd gathered. And when sports bring people together, it was so beautiful to see so many, like I could hear so many different languages being spoken. there was reporters from, many different countries interviewing people, and people would move out of the way for other people to drop off like flowers, and like they would part and let you drop off, and it was packed, and it was felt like you felt that like sadness, like it was just like that he meant so much. That's a home run.
Yep,
Two-run
I
home
just
run.
saw it. Dodgers 2-0.
Bellinger. Oh,
Sorry,
Bellinger.
I
All
saw
right.
it out of the corner of
Let's hope
my
he doesn't
eye.
pop his
Belly
shoulder.
bomb.
Yeah, there you go.
I
All
know.
right, that brains the spirits a little bit during this little segment here. So,
but I'll say this is that it has been incredible to see that like Mamba mentality just flow through in our sports. Like you saw the Dodgers, they wore their Kobe Bryant jerseys on Kobe Day, and the Lakers, everyone turned that job's not finished into a rally cry. Like that's all they've been saying right now as the Dodgers. It's emotional. Like I can't believe that was just in January that he passed away.
Yeah.
And it's just like he was so significant in the sense of not only sports, but Los Angeles. The amount that he was doing for female sports.
Yeah.
He was really moving forward, writing his own books, things like that. I couldn't believe it. Like that was really just you could feel it in Los Angeles, how sad it was. So to be in October right now with the Lakers, already with the championship and then potentially another one on the way, it's just been like an emotional roller coaster as a Los Angeles fan.
Yeah, it's amazing, with all that's gone on in 2020 that we forget sometimes that was January of 2020. I remember it was a Sunday, and I was watching football, and I remember at the time I was seeing this girl, and I texted her. I was like, "Hey, babe, the Kobe pass." She's like, "What?" Like she started bawling, but Kobe to the world meant so much. Like the way he played united the world. But tell us, for those of us who don't live on the West Coast, what did he mean to LA? Like how big was Kobe Bryant in LA? Like, as Magic Johnson's big over there. You have celebrities, but what did Kobe Bryant really mean to the people of Los Angeles out there?
I think he was bigger than the Lakers.
Yeah.
I would say that. Like, do you know how many, like there's tons of murals. There's a Kobe Murals Instagram account that you can follow. And he is just the love that people have for him is expressed throughout Los Angeles. For a whole week or maybe 2 weeks, all of our buildings had the number 24 like in their lights. And he was bigger than the Lakers. I think, just like I said, just like him, what he was doing already for the WNBA. And it he won, wasn't it an Oscar? Like he whatever he set his mind to, he was there. Like he would do it. And it was one of those things that really like pushed you. And like Los Angeles loves Kobe Bryant. That was really like a hard. I know people who named their kids after him. So
it's amazing. What's happened after that with the Mamba mentality and the icon about Kobe is incredible. But let's, to digress a little bit, let's get to you. I want to talk about Up2Us Sports. How did you get involved in that? Like, tell us what it's about. How did you get involved? How is it progressing? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Up2Us Sports has been around now for 10 years. We do our training through a trauma-informed lens. One of my favorite things I like to ask our coaches, like they'll bring up, when we're going through the hiring process and, like, whoa, what makes you want to be a coach? And they're like, I could do this and I could do that. And I can build their, dribbling, and I could build this skill and that skill. And I'll always follow up with, so what like life skills do you want to implement into your practices? And I don't think a lot of coaches think like that. And I'm just so excited because a lot of our coaches, we're partnered with AmeriCorps. So a lot of our coaches are service, right? They're serving their communities through this. And as coaches, understanding, through a trauma-informed lens, like we can support our kids in our communities and be those building relationships and being those mentors that they need. So I joined in December. I started as a program coordinator, thankfully moved up already to a program manager. And in the 2018-19 year, we served over 35,000 youth here in Los Angeles. So it's been incredible. I love my work in the sense that because I myself have coached, and when I first started coaching, getting out of softball, I went and it was my first day and I went, oh God, how do I put this in words? And, it can be so interesting to be a coach and to understand that your words matter. You make a difference in a child's life. So it was such a great fit. I actually oversee our cohort that is just baseball and softball coaches. So to be able to relate to them in that sense, because I know the sport so well, it gives me a great appreciation. And then just talking through with them as to what I've experienced with kids. Like I've had a high school player just last year who was just giving us the hardest time, or giving my coaching staff the hardest time, because I volunteer at a local park. And I told, dads are out there and stuff. And I told them, leave her to me. And sure enough, when I was like, hey, what's up? Just word vomit. And she starts telling me about her life and what's going on at home. And it's just, these kids want to be listened to. They want someone to care for them. So to be able to help coaches understand what it means to be a coach and how much you can make a difference, it's truly been incredible with Up2Us Sports.
Yeah, that's it's amazing what you guys are doing, and I know coaching is not easy. I was called on to coach my daughter's basketball team. I've been trying to become the coach of her softball team, because that's the sport I know. But they go we need somebody to coach basketball. Like they had nobody. I'm like, it was really just up to me, or the girls couldn't play, and I wasn't about to let that happen. So I accepted the responsibility, and but it was pretty good. I learned a little bit, little things here and there as well. But it was a great year, and then it just got cut short because that's when COVID hit, and they just stopped it all.
Yeah, and this is when kids need us the most. And what I really love about Up2Us Sports is we have Up2Us Sports at home, and we really focused on discussing with our coaches how they can take better care of themselves, a little self-care into hey, none of us know what's going on, but we're all in this together. This is totally brand new. Everyone's at home. How do you take care of yourself mentally? And understanding that kids need the same. A lot of us worry about those kids that normally that was their outlet, right? That was, going to the field. So what can we do to support not only our coaches, but ensure that these kids are going to be okay, which some of our sites do have on-site coaches with the kids during this time, because of course parents need to work. And then others are doing virtual. So we support in both ways.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing right now. It's how these kids coping mentally, with all the, the social distancing and, and with the, with the rise of, social media being the way it is, it's a much bigger issue than it was in years past. So, definitely having that strong foundation, and in some type of youth sports program where you put these kids together and you teach them how to become a team and how to be accountable for one another, and, how to rise above, the difficulties, those are the skills that, all children, need to have that opportunity to at least learn. So, kudos to you guys. And
it's life skills. Sports give us life skills. And
I completely agree with that. And I've said that my entire life, and it's, it's still gonna ring true until the day I die. That, that's, it's so important, and it's so critical to young minds.
Yeah.
No,
My biggest thing is to get more women out in coaching. I was fortunate enough that I was at a Boys and Girls Club for a while, and I was the athletic coordinator, and I was overseeing the baseball league for that summer. And they informed me that more girls signed up because I was the coach on the field. And
Right.
I'm a true
Trendsetter.
believer that if you don't see yourself out there, you're not going to want to go out there. So if we have more women on the field, and then on top of that, I felt like I really got respect from the boys that were on the field, because they took me, at first they didn't want to take me serious, but when they knew I knew my stuff, it was a different story. I only had one boy who actually was, I think, 12 and under, and he was taller than me.
Yeah.
And he was the pitcher, so of course he was just gassing up all these kids. So then when it was his time to hit, I was the pitcher.
Yeah.
And I never heard, like, I have a really out there laugh, but I could hear his mom cackling, like, from the other side, because I was just throwing and he couldn't touch it. And after that day, like, he was like,
That's great.
all right, and I always do that. And it's not, to be mean, but it's more like I could see it when they're like, oh, well, she's a girl. She's that's how the kids see it. She's a girl. I want to throw to her. Okay, throw to me. And like,
Wow.
and so, like, I think a couple of years later, the kid that said, I want to throw to her, I saw him like years later at a park, and he said, hey, coach. He literally just called, hey, coach. He gave me that respect. Hi, good to see you. And I'm just like, it's what we just need. We need more women coaches out on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let me ask you this. You mentioned about women's coaches. Obviously you have women now refereeing games. You have Becky Hammond, who might be a coach in the NBA one day. How do we get more women involved in coaching to get them into those high profile, opportunities for them to coach and have these influences on these kids? Because I think, we need more women out there, because they have a tremendous, voice, and they can do a lot of good things in communities where kids need help. So how do we get them involved? How do we proactively go out there and get them to coach?
I personally, like, even when I'll be out of the field, I will not challenge, but I will tell, like, a mom, a sister, a Thea, like, hey, do you want to come out here and help me? And they feel like it's not their place. And I think we need more women to go, no, like, I'm experienced, I am qualified, and I should be out on that field. And I feel if we do more of that, if like I said, like, seeing yourself out there. I don't know if you remember this. I think it was the Yankees hitting. It was for the life of me, I can't think of her name. But when she was applying for these positions, she took her first name off her resume so that they wouldn't know she was a woman. And I know countless women in the sports industry who put their initial so that they don't know that they're a woman, because they're just as qualified.
Wow, that's I didn't know that. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, so a lot of women, it's more along the lines as getting there. And I remember I was at an event here in Los Angeles, and it was a networking for women in sports. And the one thing that they truly talked about was, once you make it to the top, be sure to reach back and bring the next person up. And they were discussing that sometimes it was other women who wouldn't want them there. And it was more of like, no, like, we all need to come together and look out for each other and bring ourselves into these conversations. So it's definitely one of those things of having, like, I love that our coaches, we normally do recruit around after college, right? When you just completed. Just completed school, taking a year off, to bring those coaches in, giving them the tools as to how they could build life skills, but then also helping them to really develop themselves as coaches. I think it makes for a long term, right? I should be able to see myself as coaching in a higher education, or coaching college sports, or being in that type of realm. So it's all about just breaking it down, right? Or I guess putting, your initial for your first name.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
that's crazy, right?
Unfortunately, I mean, I feel like things are going to change, moving forward. You already see the changes happening, and I could certainly see, a woman playing in the MLB and pitching in a game. And, I used to like that show Pitch just because and you know what, like that's fiction and all that. But like, how you cancel that thing in one season? Like it was a great show, and they couldn't even. You can't have a female baseball player. At least give us a couple of seasons of one playing on TV. Right?
And there's fantastic women in baseball as well. I think we need to give the respect of them of like playing baseball. They're fantastic, and you're right. Yep. Like they should be out there. They should, it's. I think we're seeing, like you said, the movement. We're shifting. Yeah. We're all pivoting, and you're starting to see like the NWSL is becoming huge. Like I think tomorrow there's a huge announcement coming from Angel City, which is the soon to be Los Angeles team for the NWSL.
Oh, nice.
So but like women's sports, they're growing, and it's I think I read an article not that long ago that said that it's because we don't see it is why I guess we're not interested. Like if you're not putting it on the TV, there's no viewership. Of course there's no viewership. It's not on the TV. So the fact that like I think even more like WNBA games are on TV and things like that, like it's helping to change the narrative and taking finally women in sports and women's sports seriously now.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a Facebook user that agrees Pitch should not have been canceled. And I think there was talk about Netflix, picking
it up or something like that. Yeah, that would be good.
But then Mark Paul Gosselaar, you signed on for like the Saved by the Bell spinoff thing. So yeah. I think that tabled everything.
I'm gonna just say it like and
I don't know if it's out yet, but the premise is that Zach Morris is the mayor of Los Angeles. So,
come on, man.
Oh God,
is Kelly Kapowski gonna come back up or what?
I think they're married. I think they're married in this.
Oh,
and
goodness.
Let's leave the Saved by the Bell in the 90s.
Fan fiction. Someone wrote this out already.
Let me ask you this: where do you see yourself from here? I know you're a big Dodgers fan, watching over here Kershaw, and you love coaching. Do you see yourself coaching, or are you going to try to sort of advance your career, maybe look for some opportunities in these sports organizations, whether it be, I don't know, front office work, whether it be on the corporate side? Like, where do you see yourself going from here?
That's a great question. I've been so excited because this was definitely the perfect fit in the sense of work. I love what I do. I'm very passionate about it. I previously worked at MLB when I first got out of college, working at their nonprofit. And I've always been shaped as to nonprofit work. One of my first jobs was with LA's Best and After School Enrichment Program. And I've heard it, it's a theme here in Los Angeles with all the nonprofits. And it's that your zip code shouldn't determine your, what happens in your life. Like your zip code shouldn't define you, right? You should be open to all the opportunities that you have. And I really love my nonprofit work. And so I still see myself continuing in nonprofit. There's a lot of opportunity here in Los Angeles. We have not only the 2028 Olympics coming in, now we're going to host the All-Star game in 2022, but I'm hoping, if anything, I would love to keep doing programming for youth, whether it be through Up2Us Sports. We also have a lot of nonprofits here that are sports-based, or even just working with, like Mookie Betts just started his own nonprofit. So I'm open to staying within the sports world and hopefully impacting as many young Angelinos as possible.
Awesome. Kershaw just gave up on
I saw you saw that. I was gonna say it.
Yeah.
So you turned around. Yeah.
2-1. So we have a question from one of our reviewers. They want to know your top 3 baseball movies.
Top 3 baseball movies. I feel like I was like, did they see my League of Their Own?
Of course,
Funkos.
Classic.
I don't know, but I'm guessing that's one of them.
That is one of them. Oh my goodness. I am blanking out on my movies. Of course, Sandlot.
Oh yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
What would be my
That's got to be the one. Yeah.
I can't think of my last one. It's League of Their Own, Sandlot, and then Bull Durham.
Bull Durham, yeah. Crash Davis. There you go.
You know, I just watched Moneyball the other day because it's on Netflix. I like that movie.
Yeah,
I like that movie.
I thought you might have said like Major League. That's one of my favorites.
I don't know.
No, yeah, it's up there. It's up there, definitely. Wow.
The Bad News Bears. The Bad News Bears are going, right? The
Bad
kids
News
from
Bears is
from California.
Which one? The original one? Or?
Oh, the original.
Okay,
Was
so we have his top 3 is Field of Dreams, Sandlot, and Major League. It's a valid top 3.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Sandlot's definitely has to be,
100%
to the top of that list. And League of Their Own is obviously great.
Baby,
Killing me, Smalls. I say that I say that line probably at least once every couple of weeks. At some point or another.
Was it 2 years ago? 2 or 3 years ago? My boyfriend and I did Squints and Wendy Peppercorn.
Oh, that's awesome!
Oh, nice. Nice. So tell us about the gift that you got your boyfriend that other people would be shaking their head at.
Share that with us.
People wouldn't get it. So for his birthday, which is tomorrow, which is, if he's watching this, happy birthday.
There you go.
For his birthday, and then we've actually been together for now 4 years this month. I got him a pitching mound. So it's a adult size pitching mound. It's the required height and everything for the mound. And he does catching lessons. And then I was like, hey, what do you want for your birthday? And he was just throwing stuff around, and he brought up like, well, it'd be cool to have like a pitching mound so that I could do bullpens. And I was like, that's a great idea. And so, yeah, I found someone on OfferUp who makes their own pitching mounds. So I got it for a good price and bought him a pitching mound. So we went to go pick it up on Sunday, and it's just like this huge, it looked like a huge casket. And
wow.
Jeez. I mean, yeah.
That's cool. What's OfferUp? What's OfferUp? I haven't heard of that.
OfferUp, it's if you're like, it's like a let go. It's
okay.
If you have stuff where you want to just sell it. So like normally it's used stuff or
kind of like an Etsy too. Like people can make.
Well, no, like I think he just listed it on there, and I was just shopping around as to let me find something. It came up on my feed, and I was like, oh my God, like this is legit. Like it had wheels. And I was like, this guy, I was like, is this too good to be true? But when we went to go pick it up, it was amazing. It was made out of wood. It folds up into 3. It has wheels on it. Sold.
That's awesome.
Hey, you got a winner there. And happy
she's
birthday.
a keeper. Whatever your boyfriend's name is, she's a keeper, pal.
I call him Tank.
Tank, there you go.
I met him. He was a catching instructor. I was a pitching instructor at MLB. And so everyone knows him as Tank, and I just can't get away from it. His family must think I'm crazy because they don't call him that. Yeah. But everyone else outside of his family knows him as that, including my mom and my sister. So I was like, I just call him Tank. It's Tank.
Sports unites us all, man. That's a beautiful story. That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's great. It's great to build that relationship over, the love of the game and the love of baseball, and to have somebody buy you a pitching mound because that's what you really needed, and somebody that understands why, like that's
true love. That's what that is.
Yeah.
His first, I'll tell you this. So he's a Yankees fan, and for his for our first anniversary and his birthday, it was 2017 when the Dodgers made it to the World Series. And at the time, the Yankees had yet to lose. So we didn't know who the Dodgers were going to face yet. And I remember us being in the car and we're listening to the Yankees game. But I told him, like, I was like, okay, well, I'm taking you to the World Series for your birthday. I was like, it's my team, but you would enjoy it too. We both love baseball. And he was ecstatic. And we were kind of holding out of like Yankees Dodgers, like,
Yeah.
And we're in the car and it's all going downhill.
Yeah.
And they lose. And he's just so upset. And he's just like, why couldn't it be like that? I'm like, I'm sorry, I bought World Series tickets. He goes, no, I love you. Like, thank you. But like, dang, like, we just, I actually pointed out to him, I think it was when the Lakers won, he complained that he feels like he's going to be an old man until the next time the Yankees win. And I said, you were like in your 20s, early 20s, when the Yankees last won. And I wasn't born yet when the Dodgers last won. So spare me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like you were 5, you were 6, you were 7, you were 8, you were 15. All those years, the Yankees won. But yeah, I can't shed a tear for any Yankee fan that says, it's been so long.
Yeah, it's been 10 years.
I cracked up.
It's 11 years. I mean, it's time.
We watch so much baseball, even when it's the off season, we watch baseball. I sometimes get mad because I have a Roku, so we can set up, my TV into a smart TV, and he'll put on YouTube and he finds like the 1987 All-Star game. But like when it's over, which it's like 3 hours long and he's long gone asleep, if it switches to another like video and the video audio is off, I'm wake up going, oh my God, like, why did you leave this on? And like, it's like whatever other game that like, we should have just turned off the TV. So, but we watch baseball constantly. Like that's, I so thankful because I never dated someone who loved the game, and you take that for granted. And so being able to sit down, and we talk a lot about 1-1 counts, if the batter gets into a 1-2 or a 2-1, like what happens next. And I was just discussing with him, like the Dodgers didn't release yet the game 2 starter. And this could be a strategy as to utilizing the bullpen, taking off that Thursday off, but then Walker Buehler starts on game 3. So like to be able to have those conversations, oh my God, it's the best thing ever.
Danielle,
that's exactly why we created Play in the Field.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Exact reason.
Yeah,
exactly. give us a quick shout out, because no.
Yeah, no, but I was just before we go off here, I was gonna say you can, we interviewed somebody from the Cleveland Browns, Darryl Taylor. He's a youth program coordinator. That would be a role for you, in professional sports, maybe with the Dodgers or the Rams or something like that. But the other one I'm thinking about is you have so much knowledge of baseball. Yeah. Why don't you, if I were you, why don't you try to get into those executive offices up there, see if you can run a team or something, man? I mean, hey, we need a sort of trailblazer over here. Why not give it a shot?
Why not like bullpen coach?
Yeah. Just saying. No, I'm talking about like sitting in the suites with the suites, making the decisions, doing, that kind of stuff. That I think you'd be pretty good at that.
Women with sports backgrounds, grew up playing sports, end up in C-suite positions.
There you go.
If you keep your daughter in sports, it pays off in the long run. I don't know. I love the nonprofit. I know like there's no money in it, or, we're,
well, I heard a saying one time, they're saying there's profit in nonprofit. So
well, I just love the impact I get to make on the next generation. And, when I was at MLB for the time that I was, Pitch Smart started coming out. So then we started being more advocates of ensuring that these kids weren't overthrowing and having to have Tommy John surgery, at a younger age, like 13, 14 years old. So I like being kind of like the protective person of I guess, like even softball players. I'm normally the one out there who's ensuring like, hey, this kid's tired. It's not always about winning. And I'm just glad that I'm out there being able to develop programming for our youth in order for them to have fun and stay safe and enjoy and love the game. I think that's what I love too, is that they get to enjoy the game and fall in love.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're on a great path.
Yeah,
and,
it's an incredible story.
You're gonna be doing great things. Real quick before we let you off, do you have plans to go to SoFi Stadium? We'll be there. We'll be there next year.
We'll be there next year for Super Bowl 22. So if you
that's
get a
our
chance,
goal.
we should.
My master's program, we got like a preview tour, kind of like what the season ticket holders get to see. And I swear to you, it was like Disneyland. I felt like I was on a Disneyland ride. Like they show you a big screen and then the doors, glide open. And I'm just like, did I have to pay for this? Like, I don't, oh my God, like this is an experience. And what they have planned there, it's incredible. Like SoFi Stadium is definitely going to be the place to be. You have not only the Forum, which is a classic, venue. Like didn't even the Clippers just purchase like across the street?
Yeah. Steve Ballmer just bought it.
Yeah.
He bought it from James Dolan.
He's like, fine, I'll just buy it from you. It's I plan to go. They normally host like a lot of different things. Bank of California Stadium has been absolutely amazing if you ever want to catch soccer here in Los Angeles. I really love LAFC and what they did, and they actually built the culture before they started the team. And that's what you're seeing now with Angel City with the women's soccer team. So it's exciting here in Los Angeles. I would never want to leave because we have pretty much two of every, right? But I will say this is that we actually have Raider games broadcasted on one of our radio stations here in Los Angeles. We actually have one of our main channels that provides as well, like a Raiders show. And sometimes my sister forgets that the Chargers are here in Los Angeles. Like the other day she did she goes, hey, like the Raiders won, the Rams won, the Lakers won. This was a great day in Los Angeles. And I'm like, you forgot the Chargers. And she goes, oh. I was like, they'll get there, but
even
Chargers are Mike's new team. That's Mike's new team.
Even sports broadcasters, they still call them San Diego. But I know my team is the Los Angeles Chargers. Because they have a lot more highlights than another team than this team.
My mom's
I like Justin Herbert.
I make fun of him all day. When he tries to mouth off on the Raiders, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was like, "Who are you? Why are you here?"
Yeah, and the Raiders beat the Chiefs. That must have been something when you saw that, right?
My goodness, and I'm not a sports bettor or anything, and just for fun with one of my softball players and their family, I joined their fantasy football league at their house. Mind you, I forgot 1 week to even change out players. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just leave it. But majority of my players are Raiders. And thankfully, though, this past week on Thursday, I was like, oh, like it's a bye week. Let me. But I always go big. I love Derek Carr. Most people, I guess, aren't really feeling him right now, but I'm a true believer in him. From the first moment he got his first touchdown and sprinted down the field to then jump into the black hole. Yeah. That man, it was a long time since we had a quarterback who didn't go, I play for the Raiders. He was like, woo!
You forget about that. So that's definitely, he's definitely a gamer for sure. And they're looking good. Gruden's putting together a nice little game plan for them this year, and it's going to give a little bit of adversity over there to Kansas City. I mean, Rick had the Denver as his sleeper, but Cortland Sutton's gone for the year. Melvin Gordon's driving 100 miles an hour on a 50-yard 50-mile-an-hour highway. You know, and
it's not looking good for my sleeper team.
The Chargers are a building team, but Justin Herbert's the best 0-3 quarterback I've ever seen.
I'm hoping it does get better because honestly, sports in Los Angeles, there's no better place to be on for me of like just being able to experience it all, like the way. But I mean, we get a little crazy. We do burn down the city, but
I saw that. That was interesting.
But yeah,
not Philadelphia crazy though.
No,
not Philadelphia where they're like climbing on the pole. We're not there, but we're
or they finally let fans in the stands, and there's already a fight in the first game. That's always wonderful in Philly.
Yeah.
I saw that. I'm normally used to fights in the stands being a Raider fan, so I feel like the team. The last time that the Chargers were in San Diego, I went to that game. But anytime I would go, I felt like once the fourth quarter came and the fight started, going, I'm like, I feel like the Raiders feed off this energy, and it's just like fights are going and they're going down the field, and I'm just like, I don't get it. It's always a correlated situation for us. Like fights start going up. Whoops.
Yeah, well, it must be nice to be only like a couple-hour drive from Allegiant Stadium than it was to go to an Oakland game.
Oh, but Oakland is diehard. One of my old girlfriends was.
How long did it take you to get there though? If you were to drive,
it takes about 7.5 hours. And I had a friend who would make those rides out. I have a lot of sport girlfriends. So I have a Cubs one, and then I used to have one, A's, and we would just go driving San Francisco, like wherever we had to go. And I would go, oh my God, like, have you went to go get your oil changed? And it's like, no. And I'm like, what? And it's like, oh, I went to Oakland. And I'm just like, don't be driving like that. But yeah, I was like, oh man, this is perfect. 4.
Yeah. Oh, it's 4-1. Okay.
No, sorry.
3-1. 3-1. Justin Turner
Justin Turner is amazing.
I know he is.
A Met.
I know he is. Don't remind me.
I'm sorry. Allegiant Stadium. If you're making good time, Vegas is a 3.5 hour drive. Yeah. So it's gonna be. I've already seen a couple of people out there, and the experience. I saw one person I know who was in like a room, and it was all walls, including the ceiling, with like projected Raider game. And I'm just like, oh, it's gonna be. Well, I'm staying home, staying safe. Like, but when it's over, it's going to be amazing in Vegas.
Everyone's going to binge. Once
100%.
Once everything clears, it's like we're going to Allegiant Stadium, we're going to SoFi Stadium, we're going
go to all Stadium. The
stadiums. Go to the Garden.
We'll go, I guess we'll go to MetLife Stadium.
Yeah,
here and there. In the future, it'll be renamed Play in the Field Stadium.
Oh, that's what I actually have. A 2020 All-Star game.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Stop laughing. I purchased it when I started to have the feeling like we're not going to have it.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, it's one of those rare keepsakes.
I'm gonna keep this with my cutout. I actually have a cutout at the stadium, so.
There you go.
Oh yeah, you got one. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
She went to every game. It's fantastic. She even caught postseason. So
awesome. Well, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for coming on.
We went like an hour. Wow.
Yeah, this is great.
But we were having fun. We were having too much fun. But yeah, happy birthday to your boyfriend, of course. And thank you very much for coming on. It was an absolute pleasure having you, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, and you're always welcome on the show anytime.
And we're definitely gonna, look you up when we come out there to LA for sure.
Please do. I love sports. Happy to hang out, watch some sports.
Yeah.
I would also say go check out my friend Preston, who makes. He's under Twitter as Poot Poot, Poot. He does ballpark princesses, and he does minimalist art. So if you're interested in that.
All right. Yeah. We'll check him out.
On Instagram, Poot Poot, or Twitter?
No, that one's on Twitter. But he does a lot of. He's actually doing a ballpark princess at, I think Wednesday. Is it Wednesday's game? tomorrow. So he does a giveaway, and he draws like a princess in like a jersey and things like that. So you can look up his art.
Awesome.
Just wanted to plug that because sports bring us all together.
Hey, absolutely. No, please, we welcome it. All right, great. So everybody, take a look at Poot at on Twitter.
Preston Designs on Instagram.
Preston
Design. Got it. Okay.
S Preston. All right, perfect. Yeah, we'll check that out.
Yeah.
Now for one, you obviously,
yeah,
you're obviously a fortune teller here. So, and it's only one out, first and third, so they can keep those that carousel moving. It could be a nice little inning.
Let's go.
You go and watch the rest of the game. We will wrap up our show and watch the rest of the game after that.
Absolutely.
But thank you very much, and have a great night.
Danielle, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. That was great. That was awesome, man.
We were. I guess we were having too much fun.
Yeah, it was a good combo, man.
Over almost an hour.
Almost an hour. Yeah.
All right. So,
by the way, that's the kind of girl I want. Like a girl who buys me a
taken.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, but that's
I know.
Like, you know what? Yeah. I love you so much. I'm gonna put I'll buy you like a make-believe football stadium in your apartment, or like a pitching mound. You know what I mean? Or something like that is what a dude is looking for in life, man. It's all you want. It's all you want.
Yeah, just somebody that you can, that you can sit there and cry on her shoulder when something like this pops up. Sorry, I don't know. I just
for our viewers, that's gonna be a running theme for the rest of the.
Yeah, we might have to keep it up.
Yeah, we gotta keep that. Yeah, 100%.
We might have to keep it going. All right. Well, let's talk about the other New York team because they're playing on Thursday night against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Both at one win in the NFC least.
Correct.
As my friend would put it. Let's see what are the lines. I haven't even looked at the lines.
I haven't had a chance to look at it.
But I would assume it's probably around like 3.5. And it is at 4. Philadelphia is favored by 4. It's in Philly. Makes sense.
Makes sense. Man,
Philly. Miles Sanders is out. Miles Sanders is out.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz is out for 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I think the Giants get their second win this Thursday.
I think I'm with you on this. I think they're going to ride that momentum from that first win.
Yeah.
And get this W. I mean, their defense played a little better last week. Granted, it was the Redskins. It was the Redskins, but
Yeah, but the Redskins, we're putting up points in the beginning of the year, a little bit.
So I mean, I could see the Giants, just getting a couple of wins here, kind of get some momentum going here. So I'm with you.
I think Deshaun Jackson's still injured. I don't think he's playing. Yeah, they won't have to deal with him because that's the guy they don't want to.
But I like.
You don't want any part of.
I'm with you. I think the Giants win the game outright. Philadelphia just got so many issues,
and definitely getting the 4. That's a lot.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they can get their second win.
Yeah.
Now that they're not tanking for Trevor.
Yeah, no, leave that up to us.
Then, and you know what? There's talk that Trevor might even pull like an Eli Manning and try to demand trades.
It wouldn't surprise me. Again,
I wouldn't surprise me either.
Surprise me.
And let me tell you something. He sees what's going on at the New York 100%. Jets, and the fact that you won't even fire Adam Gase. Not that it's going to improve the team, but at least it's not going to. It hurt the team.
I think this. I think they don't want to fire Adam Gase because they're tanking. I mean, just let it ride it out. I mean, because if you fire him, then I get it. But if you fire him, then who are you going to replace him with? Greg Williams? Well, obviously the organization doesn't like Greg Williams. If not, they would have fired Gase already and put him in the interim.
It's not about trying to figure out how to win games. It's just about listening to your fan base and actually knowing what's good for you. And Adam Gase is not good. He's just not good. I mean,
no, I know he's not.
Doesn't deserve to have a head coach.
Dude, he sold the Dolphins a bill of goods. He sold us a bill of goods. Look, he was Peyton Manning's, basically like executive assistant for that 1 year in Denver. So he fooled a lot of people. I just think they're going to let him ride out the season. I think the Jets have probably discussed it and said, look, there's nobody else we can put in here, so we're not gonna do it. This is as much heat as we're going to take. Let's just finish it out with him, and then we'll figure it out at the end of the year. But they got to, and then Trevor. If I'm Trevor Lawrence, I use my leverage here. I said, you guys, if you want to draft me, you get a coach in here who's a legitimate professional coach. If not, I ain't coming here. And at that point, if you're the Jets and you're like, all right, you're not coming here for the coach you want, okay, then you get the biggest draft haul you can possibly get. That's what you do.
Yep.
So,
all
but
right.
I'm with you, man. I don't know.
Let's not talk about the Jets any longer.
Yeah, let's move on from that.
So we will leave everybody, and then we will see you all on Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, as always.
Apple and Spotify.
Please retweet our episode on Twitter as best as you can, and you will be entered in for a chance at a lifetime membership at Playing the Field. Please, any feedback, please share with us anything that you want to see. Any guests that are interested in coming on, please apply on the we have it on our website and our links in our bios on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
So have a good night.
Good show coming up on Thursday.
Yeah, great show coming up on Thursday. And we will leave you with a recap of the New York Jets highlights from week 6.